Holy instrument panels, Batman! Hello there, and welcome back to Building with the Boys. We now have issue 13 of Hachette's Batmobile Tumbler. And again, not a lot to do. We are 3M taping something, and you're going to need some super glue for this one. I'm not delirious about that, you know how I feel about super glue. But it is what it is, it are what it are, it am what it am, and it be what it be. So we're going to need to super glue a panel into place on this one. It's fine. Just go sparing with it, because super glue has a nasty habit of leaving gas marks. And if you are super gluing on something black, you're going to get a white gas mark if you use too much of it. So use a little. You're going to use loads. This isn't like load bearing or anything, so you don't need to go mad on it. Enough to hold it in place. That's all you need. So what are we doing in this one? Well, we are adding the two instrument panels that we've got to the side of the dashboard. We're using 3M tape to pop those ones in. Now, again, I can see there is an opaqueness to these. So lights are going to go behind these. They are going to light up. You can see it coming. We also get this bottom piece of dashboard, which we're not going to be using, but that is going to clip in. And you can see channels along there, which I assume wires are going to go into at some point. So we're going to attach those, then we're going to glue the panel in, and that's all there is to do in this one. More is coming, hopefully, in 14. We just got to get through this. This is just the way it is. This was Vector 1. With Vector 1, we had little bits of dashboard to do, and not much, but it is what it is. Needs to be done. And it's going to look great at the end of it. So just don't sweat that there's not loads at this point. Don't. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get this built. Okay, so here's our dashboard from last issue. Let's pop this out because we are going to be gluing that one. And here are the two instrument panels that we have received and the piece of 3M tape that we've got. I can give you a close-up of these so you can see what's going on with those radars on those. And on this one as well. And these are going to sit in these panels here and here. So let's flip this one over. So you can see how this is going to go. That one's going to sit in there like so. And that one's going to sit in there like so. Now we've got right and left there. Aha! I've got a feel I've been looking at this the wrong way. Have I? I don't know. I don't know. Because right and left are now upside down, which I find confusing. They do it that way. So that makes me wonder if I've been looking at this thing the wrong way up. Because that would suggest that goes there. Like that way up. I don't know. We'll find out. But what we're going to do is we're going to tape these in. So, again, using our 3M tape, we are going to put a strip of 3M tape along here and along here. We'll peel the backs off, stick these in place. So we're not using the 3M for these side panels. We're going to glue these side panels. Now, it doesn't say where to glue them. It says use a few drops of glue. I'm going sparing, really sparing on this. So I'm going to put maybe a drop there, a drop there, a drop there, a drop there in the corners to hold it in place so it doesn't seep through any of the edges. So I'll pop the one panel and you can see I've used barely any. It's just, as I said, I don't want this seeping out all over this thing. I really don't. So that's going to sit in there like so. Press that one down and let that dry. Okay, so let the glue do its thing. We'll have a look. Okay, so that's our glue dry. I'm going to flip this one over now. And that's how our panels are looking. It's looking nice, right? Imagine this all lit up. It's going to look nice. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our two 3M strips. I'm going to put one here, and then we're going to slot this panel into place. So let me get those 3M strips ready. So there's our 3M strips in place. That's where we're going to go. Now we're going to remove the backs of these, or the fronts, whichever way you want to look at it, I suppose. Come on. Come on. There we go. Right, now taking our panel, I want to make sure I put this up the right way. Yes, that's this way up, so your red button's got at the bottom. It's going to slot in there and let the 3M tape accept it. Now, that's not... It's held, is what that is. It's held. I wouldn't say that. Bizarre, there's none at the top. But again, I mean, it's secure, it's firm. And that's how we're looking. I think we're looking really nice on that one. Again, where the bloody hell does the steering wheel go? It comes out the floor, I reckon. I don't know. It'll be fun finding out. But that is all there is to do in this stage. Now, we do have this bottom piece here, which I'm assuming... what does this connect to? Yeah, okay. Yep. Yeah, there we go. So that's gonna, okay. We'll figure it out. Yeah, weird. Don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see in the next one because we get the floor. We get the cabin floor in the next one. So let's have a chat. So that's that one done. Again, nice and easy. Not lots to do, but I mean, it's looking good, right? So that's what you should focus on. Not I didn't do loads. Does it look good? Does what you've done make a difference? Has it had an impact? Yes, it has. So it's looking really nice. Now we get the cockpit floor in the next one, so we'll be attaching that to the floor, I believe. So that's gonna be fun. For those of you just sticking around for the build instructions, thank you for stopping by. I mean, you didn't really need me to tell you how to put 2 pieces of tape on, but I'm glad you called in to see us. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. For those of you sticking around, we are continuing our talks about Batman 89. And Batman 89 was about to be released in cinemas over here. It's a huge hype. So, I mean, people were losing their minds over this. They'd done a sizzle reel as a trailer, and people were like, wow, this looks dark, this looks edgy, this looks new. There wasn't anything like it at the time. And me at 10 years old, couldn't wait to see this movie. I'm chomping at the bit to go and see it. I can't wait. 10-year-old Scott wants to go and see it. But the British Board of Film Classification have other ideas because this came about. So what is that, right? Well, that's the 12 certificate, and that was the first time that that had appeared for a movie in the United Kingdom. And the reason for that is because they said Batman was too dark. It was too dark, it was too violent. The amount of cuts that needed to be done in it for it to be suitable as a PG would have lost about half an hour of film. It would have become nonsensical. They couldn't do it. So the film companies get into it with the BBFC where they're saying, look, we just dumped an absolute ton of money into merchandise for this on a film that would have been a PG. Any other year would have been a PG. If you look at some of the Indiana Jones movies, some of the Star Wars movies, the certifications they got away with, all of a sudden they're like, nah, ain't happening. Well, why? Because the reason why is because Mary Whitehouse was only about 3 years off her moral campaign to save the souls and minds of my generation by banning every single movie. The Video Nasty Act had happened a couple of years previous to this, where they were starting to clamp down on what we were watching, what we were seeing, what we were watching. It was absolutely nonsense. If you're not aware of Mary Whitehouse and her Video Nasty campaign, Google it, read it, and be gobsmacked that this actually happened, but it did. So as a result of that, there was this concern that me and my buddies were watching things like Batman that were going to corrupt us. They weren't, because to be honest with you, at 10 years old, we were watching George Romero and Dario Argento and John Carpenter. We'd already seen much worse than Batman at this point. Different era, different time. But it basically meant 12 and 10-year-old Scott wouldn't go and see this movie because it's a 12. So a generation of kids are like, are you kidding me? We couldn't go and see Batman. We're like, I can't believe this. Didn't stop me. So I did go and see Batman. I managed to get in to see Batman, even though it was a 12 certificate. But when me and my buddies used to go to the cinema when we were young, there was always this thing with 12s, like, oh, because you can't prove it. You can't, I mean, unless you're like 16, you had no ID that proved you were 12. So depending on who was selling the tickets, someone would go, no, I don't think you are. You go, I am. And they'd be like, no, I don't buy it. Sometimes we were, sometimes we weren't. But the dreaded 12 certificate, so it had its impact. So we're thinking, well, that's not a problem. We'll catch it on video. Nope, because in a stroke of genius, there was no 12 certificate on video. So they didn't introduce 12 certificate on video for years. Instead, they introduced 15. So it was 15 certificates. So when Batman left the cinema as a 12, when it landed on video, it was 15. You're like, are you kidding me? Bizarrely, 3 years later, BBC One showed it on Christmas Day at 2 in the afternoon. 3 in the afternoon, sorry. So how bad was it really? But that's what happened. So that was the release. That was kind of the uproar that happened with the release of Batman 89. But it went on to become an absolutely massive, massive hit. And the merchandise sales went through the roof and have pretty much changed the way films are marketed and merchandised to this day. Now, everyone cites Star Wars as kind of the one that did that, and it did for toys. I'll give you that. Now, there was a lot of other Star Wars stuff, but the Batman merchandise was something else. They were like, get that logo on everything and everywhere, and we'll talk about that more in issue 14 when we're doing the cockpit floor. That's all for this one. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps us massively. It really helps the channel grow, and we just love having you around, man. We really do, because one day we're going to cruise together through the streets of Gotham City in our Tumbler. If you'd like to contact us, you can contact us at buildingtheboys@outlook.com. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. We'll catch you next time. Remember, Gotham needs us.